The Sahel region of Africa, which spans from Mauritania to Ethiopia, has witnessed some of the worst violence seen since the volatile 1990s. That period was characterized by civil wars, coups, and humanitarian disasters. Since the Ivorian political crisis in 2010, which started fighting that left up to 3,000 people dead, the West African region of the Sahel has stumbled from one conflict to another, most often transcending national borders. In 2012, Mali experienced a military coup following the attempted breakaway of the northern region of Azawad by Tuareg rebels. The instability led to democratic elections in 2013, which were won by Ibrahim Babachir Keita. The French intervention under the guise of Operation Serval in January 2013 dislodged the jihadist groups from Mali's cities but did not eliminate them. They slipped away and reorganized, coming back to attack the United Nations peacekeeping mission established in Mali, as well as Malian and French forces and civilian targets in the capital Bamako and even beyond Mali's borders. In the same year, Burkina Faso's long-standing ruler Blaise Compaoré was ousted by the military following a popular uprising, which senior officers of the army took advantage of. That period also saw the peak of Boko Haram's territorial claims, which spanned the entire Lake Chad region. The Arab Spring, which shook North Africa in 2011, meant the flow of illegal arms to the Sahel from Libya over rather porous borders. This lack of proper borders has also helped the cross-border flow of weapons and trained fighters from the Levant to restive areas in the Sahel. This has facilitated the growth of cells with affiliations to ISIS, further complicating security in a region that was widely regarded as a sub-territory of Al-Qaeda in the Maghreb. An ideological split between Boko Haram, led then by Abubakar Shekau, and the Islamic State led to a further breakup of the group into three factions. These were the Islamic State's West Africa province led by ISIS, Ansaru, which moved to northwest and central Nigeria, and the Jas faction headed by Shekau, who relocated to southern Borno and the Mandara Mountains following their ouster from Lake Chad by ISWAP. But beyond the threat of jihadist terrorism, there's also the overarching problem of the pastoral conflict between farmers and herders across the region. While it has been a problem of much of Nigeria's modern history, with the colonial government gazetting some of the first grazing routes in 1949, the violence, which has at one time restricted to the north central and northwestern geopolitical zones of Nigeria, has seen an expansion to other Sahelian states, including Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. The Global Terrorism Index in 2015 named Fulani herdsmen as the third deadliest terror group in the world in the wake of their clashes with farmers. There have been a number of government-led efforts aimed at stopping the violence. The multinational Joint Task Force, made up of Nigeria, Niger, Chad, and Cameroon, was set up in 2014 as a military force for the Lake Chad Basin Commission against Boko Haram. However, the momentum died just 3 years later as Boko Haram reclaimed territories they had previously lost. France launched Operation Berkane in the same year, while a coalition of European countries led by Sweden launched Operation Takuba in 2020 to advise and assist the Malian military. Operation Berkane was able to roll back jihadist advances to central Mali, but has not been able to put a stop to killings in areas beyond government control, which has led to protests and the rise of anti-French sentiments. Mali has sought to mitigate this problem by bringing in mercenaries from Russia's infamous Wagner group to fill in the security shortfall. This is not entirely new to the region. At the peak of Boko Haram's territorial claims in 2014, the Nigerian government engaged the services of Executive Outcomes, a South African private military contractor whose heroics enabled the 2015 general elections to be held in the region claimed by Boko Haram. The Chadian government has also struggled with Islamists and a rebel group on its border with the Central African Republic. The Front for Change and Concord in Chad, or FACT, is a political and military organization created by S.G. Mahamat Mahdi Ali in March 2016 in Tanua, in the north of Chad, with the goal of overthrowing the government of Chad. Currently, the government of Kakadebi is said to be considering a ceasefire, which could usher in a negotiated compromise. In summary, the inability of states and multinational actors to roll back gains made by Islamists and other non-aligned groups is severely depleting trust in the state, as armed non-state actors are increasingly stepping in to fill the void left by the state in ungoverned spaces. The solutions opted for have largely tilted towards kinetic force and military solutions, but the successes of these groups in keeping state actors at bay has strengthened the view that the states in the region have lost the monopoly of violence, and as these armed groups provide governance which has been abdicated by the government, more youth are and will continue to be drawn to these alternatives. Islamist terrorist networks such as Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State are likely to take advantage of such voids to draw violent non-state actors not already allied with them into their orbit. Although the factors that led to the emergence of these groups are very local, their being allied to either Al-Qaeda or the Islamic State will allow them to benefit from support, such as weapons, training, and media. It also allows them to project a greater strength than they usually would have, a not very comforting long-term prospect for the Sahel.